So today I'm going to use this thing that I got for Christmas. It's a thin rib jig. I'm going to rip a bunch of maybe walnut, maybe white oak, I'm not sure, and bend it around something to make a banana stand.
The purpose of a thin rib jig is so that you can get consistency in your cuts. This one made by Fulton easily slides into the miter slot on your table saw. On one end of the jig there's a ball bearing which helps you when guiding the board through the table saw. Move the jig up towards the blade to determine the thickness that you want for each piece. Once you have your board selected, sandwich the board between the fence and the jig and make your cut.
Well, that is pretty thin, but it seems to bend pretty good.
Move your fence up against your board again and repeat the cut over and over until you have enough thin strips for your project. In this case, I have no idea how many strips I need, so I will keep cutting until it looks about right.
Okay, next we need to make some type of form that these bend around. We've got my son, William. What are we making?
A banana hanger.
A banana hanger. Okay, what do you think? This is a random piece of MDF that we will, I don't know, cut up and see if we can bend in. Maybe it's like that. It could be like this. What do you think? Could be like that? That's too big.
Yeah, because then it makes a C.
A C? You're right. Maybe it's like this, and we see if we can get that. Oh, get it? See if we can get it? Dad jokes. I don't know, we're winging it. So we need to cut both of those lines, right? Okay, let's just use the jigsaw for that.
At this point, I'd like to point out that if these lines and this cut were more precise, in the end you're going to have a much better banana stand, or in this case just bent lamination piece, once you glue it up.
All the strips. We're going to use a lot of glue here, bud. We're going to glue every piece and then slide it in there and hope for the best. Okay?
Okay.
For when we need them.
Again, to point out my flaws in this plan, I definitely should have brushed out the glue on each one of those so that it was consistent. That was another thing that I found in the end, that there were gaps due to no glue touching that area.
Okay, well, we've got that glued up. I don't know if it's perfect. It probably isn't. I used some shims over here on the end to kind of like tighten it up. Seemed to work just fine. I guess we'll see how it turns out. Okay, it's been a day. Let's see what we got. I make mistakes, and one of those was running this through the planer. Most of this got really nice and smooth and evened out. I like that. There's clearly a huge gash there. This is coming apart now. The plan is to cut it off right here and somewhere down here. We'll see. So this is the base to the banana stand. I'm going to cut it into kind of a diamond shape by taking off the corners.
The last thing I wanted to do with this base is just soften the edges by doing a quick round over on all the edges. And then cue the sanding montage followed by the staining. For this project I chose a pickle stain just to lighten up the white oak color. Before adding the clear coat, I decided to put this project together, marked out the location, pre-drilled and countersunk for screws. I added a bit of CA glue for a temporary clamp, pre-drilled through the bent lamination and drove in the screws. Next, I wanted to add a clear coat just to seal it up. Last part to add is the banana hook itself. Pre-drill and drive that in.
Alright, the banana stand or the banana hanger is done. I think it turned out pretty good. Put the bananas right there on the hook. There it is. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe.
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 Subs.
Now that sounds weird. There's always money in the banana stand.